Loads of your questions pouring in for our first Monday Night Football of the season. And Gary, we'll stay with you on this. Given that Henrikh Mkhitaryan already has 4 assists for Manchester United, can he beat the record of 20 in a Premier League season held by Thierry Henry? Well, at this rate, he's heading for about 76, I think, 2 a game.
I'm not sure about that. I think what he does do, he connects the team. I think he provides pace on the counter-attack. I just mentioned the word counter-attack. Manchester United have always been able to get from box to box quickly and attack. And I think that he does provide that. He's quicker, he's deceptive in terms of his speed. And I think ultimately now, he's become imperative. With respect to, say, previous players that I've seen in the last 2 or 3 years, I think Juan Mata in particular, I think Mata's doing a great job, but it's difficult to counter-attack through him because he doesn't have that speed. I think it's better that you have somebody in there who can connect with Lukaku but also run past him, and also with that first point of call where they can basically dribble forward and go quickly. So I like him in there. I like the way he plays, and like I say, he's an important part. But I'm sure he'll be in and out of the team. I don't think he'll play every week. I genuinely don't think he'll play every week, Mkhitaryan. I think he's the type of player that'll drift in and out during the season, be important to United, but won't be a fixture every single game.
We'll stay with Man United. Jamie, you can have this one. Do you think that Manchester United will perform against the bigger teams this season?
Why not? I mean, listen, we had a debate, I think, at the end of last season, how United performed in the big games. And it will be interesting, because I don't think Mourinho will shift. I don't think he changes a manager. Listen, maybe there's examples of that, but Mourinho's got a formula of winning, and if he can nullify an opposition and get a result doing that. The problem was they weren't getting results doing that, I think, in big games. I think especially away from home. That will be a big test. So the football that we've seen, Gary's just said teams will win it, playing different ways. I don't expect Manchester United to go with Pogba and Matic in a midfield 2 against top teams away from home. No, I expect the wide players to be further back and chasing wing-backs or full-backs. I think that's Mourinho's way. I don't think it'll change. The reason we criticised it last year is because he weren't getting results. When he does get results doing it, we say, oh, masterclass Mourinho goes to Barcelona with Inter Milan with 10 men, 9 men. We say it's great. I think when you play like that, you've got to get the results. The problem was last year, he didn't get the results.
I think last year they were an inferior team to many of the top teams. Well, they were an inferior team to many of the top teams. I think that they've got more presence and more confidence this year to be more bold in the games. I know what you're saying, but a lot of the games I saw at Old Trafford last season against the inferior teams, they were getting 55, 60, 65% possessions and not winning. So I do think they can keep possession in the games that they need to. I do think they'll drop deeper, I agree with you, in certain bigger games away from home. But the ability this year, I think, to counter-attack better and be more cutting on the counter-attack.
One factor that we didn't talk about earlier when discussing Spurs and Chelsea, and it's been screamed through the newspaper headlines today on the back of that result, was this. Do you think that, let's try that again, do you think that Tottenham will quickly adjust to life at Wembley? Gary, you were there?
I was there. I said that the pitch should suit them. They're an energetic team, they're an athletic team, young team. There's no reason why it shouldn't. They have got this issue. What I would say is yesterday that the actual, you were at the game as well, the atmosphere with those flags before the game, it actually felt like a cup final. It felt like a cup final. So if it felt like a cup final for us, it'll have felt like a cup final for Chelsea. Next week, Burnley go there. I'm sure they'll be reminiscing about previous cup finals that Burnley and Tottenham have played, and they'll be the old players will be coming out, and Burnley will have that special feeling for their fans. They'll travel probably in bigger numbers, the away fans, because of the fact that ultimately it's at Wembley. So I do think there is something about it being a big game for the teams. I've seen that with England, you've seen that with England, but I still don't think it's an excuse that Tottenham's still on that bigger pitch, still should be suited with their style of play to actually doing well there.
It's a problem, isn't it? The opposition are going to be inspired.
They will be, and especially teams like Burnley, who, how often are they going to play at Wembley, those set of players? So it will feel like that.
Last time, 2009.
Yeah, set that up for you there. And but it will be, and that's a problem for them. And I've said it last season. You just feel as even though the new stadium is going to be brilliant, it'll be fantastic for Tottenham in 30, 40, 50 years' time. This is the best set of players they've had for probably 30 years, and you just think if they just a couple of more years at White Hart Lane with this team, could it make a difference?
Marco Silva, now in charge of Watford, managed to get his first away win at the 10th time of asking in the Premier League. And Jamie, how far can he take them this season?
Well, to be honest, Watford, that's sort of strange team that every time I watch them, they look poor and they seem to lose. But then I look at the league and they're always 12th. You know, whenever I see them, I think they're one of the worst teams I've seen. This is over the last few years with different managers. So they're never sort of in a relegation fight. And I don't expect them to be with this. I'm a big fan of this manager. I watched Hull 3 or 4 times the end of last season, and I really like him. Yeah, didn't have a great away form, but to give Hull a fighting chance going towards the end of the season with the players he lost, the players he had to bring in, Niassi, Markovic, who were nowhere near the level, I think, of Premier League. And I think he's got something about him. I think we've seen that early on in this season. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's a manager who, like a Pochettino, went to Southampton, then went to the Spurs. OK, this is his second club in the Premier League. If he does well at Watford, I wouldn't be surprised if he makes that jump again to a top 6, top 8 team.
Bringing it full circle, having watched him tonight score his 200th Premier League goal, who would you like to see? It's a leading question. Who would you like to see in the England squad when it's announced, Gary? Would you like to see Wayne Rooney in there? He's going to have a chat with Gareth Southgate.
Yeah, I would, in the sense that ultimately you can't be sort of emotional about this. If he's in the best 3 or 4, 5 strikers in the country, then he makes the team. I have no embarrassment with thinking that Wayne Rooney comes into the England squad as a youngster, 16, 17, 18, and has to work his way into the squad. Why shouldn't he phase his way out of the squad? Why does it have to be an all or nothing whereby, you know, players either have to play or they're completely out of the squad? It doesn't have to be that way. So for me, if he's accepting of the situation, he might not be number 1. Obviously, Harry Kane's going to be number 1. Vardy's there. You've got other players as well. But if he can contribute, I see it in other countries where players come out of the squad.
If it's on form, the first 2 games of the season, Wayne Rooney's in the England squad. He is. You know, we've seen what he's done tonight. We highlighted his performance last week against Stoke in that second half. He's best player on the pitch.